As the sky becomes the dominating space in modern warfare, every country is competing to have the best air master. Amid the intensity of this competition, China is no longer playing behind the scenes. They are now preparing something more than just a response to Western powers. A new generation of fighter jets, known as the J-36, is beginning to assert itself in global discussions and speculations. This jet is not just a continuation of the already well-known J-20 series. The J-36 is thought to be a major stepping stone towards a future era of air dominance, with all the advantages of stealth technology, artificial intelligence, and the possibility of unmanned operations. The world is wondering, is this the beginning of a new air dominance in the East? The J-36 project looms in the shadow of China's growing covert military development program. Official information is almost non-existent, but fragmented data from limited defense exhibitions, test models, and satellite images suggest that the aircraft has passed the conceptual design stage and entered the prototype phase. Many analysts believe that the J-36 is part of a long-term defense strategy launched by Beijing to catch up with, and even surpass American sixth-generation fighter jet projects such as the NGAD. Not just a combat platform, the J-36 is a symbol of technological nationalism, a message that China is no longer following but ready to lead. In terms of design, the J-36 is thought to feature a blended wing-body approach with a structure that minimizes the radar cross-section. The aircraft is likely to lack the traditional vertical fin in a commitment to true stealth. Its flat, streamlined surfaces indicate a high dedication to low observability across the radar spectrum. Hidden engine intakes, internal weapon bays, and a smooth shape with no conspicuous angles suggests that the J-36 was designed not to look tough, but rather to be invisible. The ability to avoid detection is at the core of its design philosophy. Some reports even suggest that it may have been designed with the ability to absorb radar energy instead of just bouncing it in different directions. Behind its physical technology, the J-36's strength lies in its brain, a fully integrated new-generation avionics system. SA radars, electro-optical sensors, IRST, and sensor fusion capabilities are combined in an AI-based computing system that enables real-time decision-making on complex battlefields. In addition, the possibility of advanced electronic warfare capabilities makes the J-36 not only a predator in the air, but also a threat in electromagnetic spectrum warfare. In terms of weaponry, it is predicted that the J-36 will carry beyond visual range missiles like the PLACE-15, hypersonic anti-ship missiles, and possibly directed energy weapons in the future. All weapons are stored in an internal chamber to maintain the stealth profile. The J-36 is not just designed to fly fast. It is built to stay in the air for long periods of time, reach distant targets, and maneuver unnoticed by opponents. With a new generation engine such as the WS-19 or an advanced variant of the WS-15, the J-36 is expected to be capable of supercruise supersonic flight without afterburners and operate far behind enemy lines. Furthermore, there are indications that the J-36 supports autonomous or semi-autonomous modes, meaning it can be remotely controlled or even carry out missions on its own using artificial intelligence. In modern combat scenarios, this opens up the possibility of using the J-36 as an airborne command center leading a fleet of combat drones in real time. When compared to the F-22, the J-36 seems to offer more than just stealth and maneuverability. It integrates future technologies such as AI and autonomous operating systems. When compared to the F-35, the J-36 appears to focus more on a full air superiority role with digital interconnection capabilities. While the American NGAD is still shrouded in secrecy, the J-36 seems to be a step closer to real implementation. Compared to the Russian Su-57, the J-36's approach is more towards information dominance and extreme stealth capabilities rather than just maneuverability. In other words, the J-36 could pose a real threat to the West's almost unassailable air dominance. The presence of the J-36 not only shifts the landscape of defense technology, but also strengthens China's position in the global geopolitical arena. This fighter jet is a symbol of new air power, capable of changing the strategic calculations of countries in the Indo-Pacific region. With its wide range and high-level stealth capabilities, the J-36 provides an air power projection advantage that is no longer limited to the vicinity of China's borders, but reaches into sensitive areas such as the South China Sea, Taiwan, and even the waters of the Western Pacific. For countries such as the United States, Japan, and Australia, the presence of the J-36 reinforces the urgency of accelerating joint defense programs, such as AUKUS and modernizing early detection systems. The jet also gives China a higher bargaining position in regional and global diplomacy, as air dominance has always been a tangible indicator of a country's military strength. In an era where air power can determine the outcome of a conflict in a matter of hours, the J-36 becomes a strategic leverage tool that can be used both on the battlefield and the diplomatic table. The J-36 is not just a new fighter jet, but a symbol of power transition, from an era of absolute Western dominance to true competition in space. With its potential as a sixth-generation fighter, the J-36 brings new hope for China to become the future master of the skies. However, as with all modern weapon systems, the success of the J-36 is not only determined by technology alone, but also by the ecosystem around it, data support, integrated weapon systems, and a new military doctrine capable of maximizing its capabilities. If all of these come together on a single platform, then the world should prepare for a new era, the J-36 era.